with exhaust. It's a champion with a very, very short window of being successful. You need to get a kill, you need to get snowballed before the stopwatches come online, and then the exhaust just completely ruins your day. So far, these assassins have not been working out very much at all. But when there's a Graves, there's a Jhin, and a Syndra all sitting around, hey, that's 3 targets out of 5 that you can potentially just kill outright.
Kirino's opening game into the PCS. Been a while since we've seen him over in the LST, but remember, regions combined, but still, it's been a while. 3 years, I think, Clement, since 2019, since he's last played a competitive game on stage.
Yeah, it has been. We haven't seen him since sort of like the start of the PCS, basically. Yep. So that's been the thing with SEM9. They had a bit of a hiatus. Unfortunately, no Malaysian teams for a while as the regions combined, but now they get their chance again. I just can't wait to see this. We did get a look at the runes here, and pretty much standard. We did see a little bit of Taste of Blood coming in from the Zed, just to get a little bit more lane sustain, and of course he is going to be running the Electrocute, as is Cha-Cha.
Yeah, so, very aggressive lane. I love, the Ignite coming through from Kirino, as Hurricane Gaming are going to start this invade. Ward over the other side will spot it, but as they move from Pixel Brush already, there we go. Ward's there. And it will be 10 gold given over to Enhal. Hurricane Gaming still going in for this, though, Clement. They want to start on the bottom side of the map, and it looks like set Aliao up for the potential of a vertical jungle.
I think it could be more than vertical. He could go red buff to red buff. This is perfectly fine for him because there will be no contest from someone like a Diana. And I like this level 1 strategy here. The path here is a little bit questionable, let's be honest.
It is, and how he's already used stretch lines. The flash Ignite, no. You know what? Regret immediately. Ignite goes down. Clement, that's no longer worth. Velia running up to Alial, but it's a lethal tempo jinx with Leona having Q, and he can't fix that.
I feel like there was a question mark sign before the profit point coming on the side for Hurricane Gaming. It's like, all right, we're going to go red buff to red buff, and then we're going to dominate this Diana. She's never going to get level 6. And that was just completely unnecessary error. Like, if you committed to that play and the enemy team's already shoved the wave that way, you got to take a safer route. There's just... I think they probably went with the invade a little bit too late, as we saw Clay X and Philia were able to shove the wave quite convincingly early on.
Oh, Kirino, look at it. Let's go. Zed melee range, but the problem is that you've already used the Shuriken, and so Cha-Cha just builds off and spaces it out, and Kirino loses the trade. But hey, coming back to it, there's a 1k gold lead for SEM9 in the early game, and for a team that wants to play aggressive, what a grand start, as Caspiel's even coming to the bottom side. Zenith Blade and Hal ignoring it with the dredge line, and that means Caspiel can't come in, so small win for Hurricane Gaming's bottom lane.
A good response coming in from Enhal, but throughout all of this, I do want to mention, because Alio had to show up in the lane in the bottom side.
Yeah.
This jungling path, he will catch up with the farm, and you actually exceed the farm from Diana, but at the moment, he's still a little bit struggling to catch up. So this level 1 invade is, I'll be honest, completely nullified. It's not been doing so much. This is a tough fight for Caspiel. I don't think he should be here, and it's not going to be in time.
Especially with ICU having the push up on the top side. We haven't talked much about the lanes because of what we've seen as Zed's played once again, but Enhal has a pretty good read on how to redirect it. The dredge line cancels it out, and Camera getting baited by that one a little bit again. As I was saying, Clement, we haven't talked much about the lanes. Mid lane looks pretty fun at the moment as Electric comes forward again. This time, Kirino winning out the trade. CS differential by quite a bit, though, from Cha-Cha. So worth noting here that the lanes are going pretty well, with Hurricane Gaming in a similar position up in the top side with ICU zoning out Shiramine.
And another big thing to point out is just looking at the map, we have far superior vision on the side of SEM9. They do have deep wards into the jungle. They know whenever Aliel is going to try to gank the mid lane, which is really necessary when you're playing a Ignite versus Teleport matchup. A lot of times you're going to have to be walking into the wave in this type of a situation where the wave is very close to the enemy tower. So I like what they've been doing right here from SEM9, and they're really just setting up for a big skirmish onto the bot side. I think that is probably the best target to go for. No flash on How, and from what we've seen, good shoving potential from Zed. Also coming in with a big power spike with the serrated Dirk. So I do expect them to kind of shift their pieces towards the bottom.
One on Aliao as well, just noting that. Serrated Dirk picked up. We've got a blasting one here for Caspiel, and we're getting close to the 6 point. Caspiel actually with an EXP lead for now, but enemy jungler on the other side going to be picking up the Gromp, and that'll get him close. Objective now up 2 with the Dragon, and both junglers heading towards bot with SEM9 having the shove in. And I feel like it is early game, Clement. You know, you and I haven't talked too much about comps because we have been sidetracked. You did say in draft that for Hurricane Gaming, the pieces didn't fit.
I don't think they do. I still don't think they do. Well, for Hurricane Gaming, they have to win early. This is not a late game composition. This comp does nothing late game. So you have to keep ahead of the curve. A lot of your targets get one tap by Zed. So you also have to play a relatively clean game where you can't give kills over to Kurino, where you will make your life just a nightmare. So the windows that they have and the amount of cleanliness that they have to play with, I think, is very limiting. On the side for SEM9, they honestly have a lot more outs here.
Dive time. Flash away. There's no mana available. That is clean from Kirino and Philia helping out. There you go. A kill over to Zed, Clement.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. And if you were pick Zed, I will always root for you because I love watching Assassins. You know, we all grew up on that Faker versus Rio play, the man that dies 1,000 times a day. This is just beautiful to watch, and hopefully they get to spin the strategy into the bottom side.
A good little roam up from the support. ClayX and Philia, you know, still in a decent position in that bottom lane. The Jinx catching the wave, and not much Aliao can do, so Gold League continues to be in SEM9's favor as we look at the replay from this manaless dive from Chutka.
And just beautifully done. He flashes the E, but it doesn't really work out for him, and Philia does tank the 2 parting shots, so there's absolutely no loss here, and you know, this is a massive power spike coming in from the side of Zed. I really am curious on what item he is going to go first with. We have seen things like the Prowlers. It is potentially Duskblade, though I think Prowlers overall probably has more potential for outplay, given the amount of like skill shots here that we're seeing.
If it was an SOFM jungle Zed, it would be Umbral Glaive first. As you know, but again, it's not, so we'll wait and see. A very, very good item in pro play, and something that is so painful to verse. Especially in the early game, as it is a relatively cheap item. But Clement, it's Herald time. Ignore what I'm saying because we have a strong Zed, and for now, I'm kind of curious as to how you set yourself up on this objective.
I think we're looking at the potential for a Wombo combo here. So Hurricane Gaming, the most important thing for them is to not bunch up when you're going down the ramp. That is the cardinal sin that you can make here. I love SEM9's positioning. They have this ward cleared out. They're already close to the ramp. So if Hurricane Gaming and their backline show up, it's a very easy engage for Philia. Karino is getting some poke down, and they're also just waiting for the Jinx to come up. Here we go.
Philia flashes in. The rest of his team not there yet, though. And for SEM9, their support maybe not communicating that well. Caspiel going to be caught out next, and that's 2 kills. ClayX wasn't there, and Shiramine was far away too. Like, I'm not sure about that one.
I think he tunneled just a little bit. Okay. He heard my voice through the ether, you know? He's like, we have to take them down, or they're coming up the ramp. That's your best opportunity. So he heard my voice, he went straight in, and then ClayX and everyone else on SEM9 said, no! That was close.
An attempt, a worthy attempt at the very least. Herald goes down. Hurricane Gaming, even out in gold, Clement. And the comp that you talked about, you know, that doesn't really synergize together. They are now back into the early game that was going swimmingly for SEM9.
Weirder things have happened, I guess.
That's true.
Take a look across the map. ClayX, I think he does get 1 turret plating in the bottom side. A bit of a consolation prize. And for Aliel right now, I would actually want to drop this into the mid lane. I don't feel like dropping it, even if they take the top lane, it doesn't really change much of the map equation. I would much prefer to just get Cha-Cha even further ahead, make sure he's not a viable solo kill target from the side of Carino, and you know, just make sure that Zed doesn't have that many opportunities to roam here.
Because again, he picked up the kill, still without the mythic, but keeping Kirino down is, you know, a very viable solution here for Hurricane Gaming, and it feels like something that they need to do anyway. So as they start leading ahead in gold, we'll watch that Herald placement. But here in the early game, 4 kills and 10, but it's hoping things continue to heat up, because we are moving closer and closer outside the laning phase, and when both teams need wins to kind of survive, like the fact that this early game has been a bit questionable in certain stances is kind of setting up where they are in the league. You got 10 teams, and the 9th and 10th place are very veered off from everyone else.
Yeah, we had some basically love shown both ways from the supports this game.
Yeah.
Completely got a head scratcher games, but here is really the time where I think things can get much more interesting. We do have the combos online on the side for SEM9, and Leon is a great one to start the combo with, so I like that they're basically baiting with the dragon here, forcing again Hurricane Gaming to come down to those ramps where you typically are very grouped up and Caspiel can find a good gauge. But Hurricane Gaming, they just don't fight. They know that they have no business going into this river given the vision disadvantage. Just pass by.
And it's only a Cloud Soul that you could potentially be giving away this game, so the least concern out of any of the souls coming through. But there's 2 dragons. It's still a condition for SEM9. Still something they've been stacking up. And as that goes down, now we're back to the Herald play. So Aliel moving towards mid, but no camps seem to be available. A position on the entrance on this left side, and somewhere to get the Herald down. But he's going back towards top, Clement. I feel like he's going to double down on this.
Yeah, that's the only lane they have the wave pushing in, but he is spotted here, and Zed is also moving up here. That's why I wanted it to go mid. If you go mid, Zed can't show up and surprise you. Aliel, where are you going, Aliel?
Okay.
Going?
Well, he's going into the nether. Deathmark used. Kirino picks up the kill. Herald is going to help get this turret, that's for sure. Shiramene can't stop that, as the minions will help do the work. ICU prioritized, but yeah, Aliel just going to trade up his life for it, I guess.
And I just don't feel like SEM9 are really threatened about losing their top lane tower. You know, it's a kill over to Zed. And what is Nari going to do, honestly? Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone afraid about Nara roaming, and that's why I would have much preferred to see it go mid instead. I mean, when you're dropping it mid, at the very least, you know that Zed's not going to surprise you, and you kind of limit his effectiveness. Good play.
Yeah, nice. Cancels the back and just saw it with the edge of vision. Unfortunate to say the least, and you're right, you know, mid to give Cha-Cha a bit of an edge, because Kirino now has a Prowler's Claw. You get your question to the answer to the question, I should say, Clement. We do have a Zed with a lot more outplay potential, a lot more gap close than he already has.
Yeah, and this is really going to help out when he gets pushed back by the Scatter of the Weak. He can instantly just pop the Prowlers and get right back on its target, or have the W ready for the engage as well. So this is a huge power spike coming in. You have double Mythics coming out on the side of SEM9 carries before anything from Hurricane Gaming. And we still haven't seen a move volley just yet. So I do expect things to really start to heat up quite soon. Shiramine has also completed his Mythic in the Everfrost, so a lot of catch potential here. And I just feel like SEM9, their strategy to win the game is very clear going forward, is you just try to take every objective fight you can from now on. You're almost guaranteed to win in most instances. If the enemy can't find any poke on you, just snowball the game from there.
Yeah, easy way through. Hurricane Gaming, limited options in the early game already being shown, where gold may have flipped in their favor, but we see plays like that. We see the item advantage, and we know that Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, another Herald in a minute. A lot of options available for the comp that looks a little bit stronger, and Caspiel's coming to the bottom lane. This will not be spotted. Hurricane Gaming have their own, but as Felia clears out the ward, there's another one in there. Caspiel's going to walk into it, and there goes the element of surprise.
Just a straight 3v3 here. They wanted to catch Hurricane Gaming in the middle of the lane, but Hurricane Gaming did a very good job at covering all of their entrances and making sure the lane gank wasn't available. I really like that they also had Aliel here into the bottom side just to make sure that doesn't happen. And in the meantime, ICU is doing his darnest to get as far ahead as possible in this game. I feel bad about this Gnar pick because even if it wins lane this hard and like taking away enemy caps, I just don't think it's gonna show up in skirmishes at all. Like the skirmishes are gonna happen so quickly from the side of SEM9, and they're not gonna pay any attention to the Mega Gnar Bara. It's almost like it doesn't exist. And here we have the dive.
In and out before anything happens, before you can get the Mega Gnar ulti off. It's a Mega Death Rocket going up. I think that is checking the Herald. As no, they got false information. It started now while the turret goes down to the bottom side. So SEM9 equalizing a little bit in gold once again. Herald's going to be started here. We are just doing a simple dance with pants, Clement. What item comes next for Kirino? Let's talk about that, because as a Zed, you have so many options, like so many lethality items to choose from.
Yeah, there's a whole host of them right now. There's no shielding that much on the enemy team, so you don't really expect the Serpent's Fang. We have seen people just go straight up for the Sorelia's Grudge, which is one of the items that are kind of interesting. But I think in this sense, he's probably going for Knight's Edge, given his item build and the Ruby right now. Most likely just thinking about countering out the Scatter of the Weak. It makes it very hard for Syndra to get away. I expect probably that item into Sorelia third makes a little bit more sense.
I love Knight's Edge, sounds better. I think it's Edge of Night. But
I
like
Edge
Knight's
of Night.
Edge.
Sorry.
Knight's Edge is cooler, dude. It's literally like, let's give it to one of the best mid laners in the world. Let's name an item after him. And how not starting anything here. But Dragon's up, and Clement, Knight's Edge won't be there. But Kirino still has a lot of damage, and SEM9 are gearing up. Look at where the Zed is, and look at where Hurricane Gaming have to walk into. Oh no. Oh no. They've walked into this. Wait for the Diana ulti. I am. Caspiel's still there. Kirino jumps on in. Ignites down. There's a two-man moonfall. And Bang 2 cops the edge of it, but still no kill. And ICU, who wouldn't have an angle, now aims for the 80 carry. ClayX has the range to play with. Everyone's so low. And Kirino finally finished off the kill with the Prowler's Claw. But look at this. Hurricane Gaming get out with lives that shouldn't be there.
I'm so surprised at SEM9. Once again, they do sort of fumble the engage. Hurricane Gaming honestly gave them a perfect chance. They got the full surround. They had Gnar still very far back into the background, but Philia just went in a little bit too early. I love the play from Enhao, being able to use that depth charge to slow the rest of the team, and they just don't get the combo. The combo should be Leona ultimate into Diana Moonfall, and then you have Zed picking up targets left and right.
Zed went in when I guess he realized, like, I gotta go in now. Like, Kirino wasn't able to clean up, did a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough here, and so Hurricane Gaming, with a couple of quick resets and members left over, will pick up the Dragon, slow down that objective momentum. And Clement, as we look at the replay here, you're right, Philia starts this off again before the team's there.
Yeah, just look at how many seconds it takes before the Moonfall comes after the Leona ultimate. A couple key things right here. They didn't really have vision of the banana brush, always a key thing when you're playing red side versus blue side. And we saw Moonfall coming in about 5 or 6 seconds later. Kirino is just making his way in to the fight right now. He picks off the jungler. It's 3-0, but I can't help but feel like they could have played that with a little bit more patience. And just like if Filio has waited 2 seconds, just 2 seconds for the back end, I think for Kirino to go in, it would have been fine.
Hello, sure. Mine caught out a little bit here, and they do have the damage. Nicely done. I guess when ICU has all the resources, he is still going to do a bit of damage.
Doing a great job at this point. And this is a split push threat that SEM9 do have to reckon with. They've been trying to group up so far.
Now getting caught out again. Philia frontlining. Solar Flare comes through. Caspiel not in yet. Use the Proto Belt. Wants only one. That's onto Bang 2, but the Gale Force away. Meanwhile, Kirino has a death mark onto ICU. It's a double kill for ClayX's. Aliel hovers back. Philia golden for the last shot. He survives, and SEM9 punish Hurricane going way too deep.
Yeah, that was a bit weird from Hurricane Gaming. Cha-Cha was not in position, so they willingly walked themselves and actually engaged onto a sort of a 4v5 situation. Sure, Shiromine wasn't there either, but they already expended their ults from the previous fight, so it definitely was not in their favor. Just going a little bit too deep. If they just waited again for people to link up, this would have been a much stronger position. So we're going to watch that again. You know, engaging in these sort of narrow corridors, it's definitely favorable for the side that is going in tank first. Enhao at this point, you know, not as tanky as a Leona with the W, and they're able to just kind of front to back this and clean up target after target. I want to see how many kills Kirino has after this, because he is going on very close to Legendary at this point. Oh, you didn't get anything. Okay, never mind.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Look, Clement, Kirino is... It's funny for 3-0Z. Like, I'm sure we're going to see him pop off more in the next couple of fights, but he's being very calm, kind of playing around what Feely is doing at the moment. And my point comes to this. We have a very strong SEM9, and I need to come back to a point. Like, this Zed has so many targets. You talked about it. And even as the game goes on, a lot of people think Zed going to fall off. But with the amount of targets you told me about, it's pretty easy to see how he can rip through all game long.
Yeah, I expect Aliel to just completely die, and ICU waits for his Mega to go down.
Oh, Shuriken missed. Ignites there, and he jumps back. Caspiel, you want to finish it? It's yours. It's all yours.
Beautiful punish right there. Nobody expects the Zed to come from behind. That's always the most difficult angle. Like, if you look at the warding from ICU, he's like, okay, I did my due diligence. I made sure that there's nobody on my flank. And then Zed just pops up right behind you. The timing was perfect there from Kirino as well. And Hurricane Gaming don't really have a lot of wave clear to keep this one alive. We have the collateral damage being expended.
Yeah, and another ulti with Curtain Call as well. Shiromine just blocking it all. And Bang2 accepts fate that all bullets are going to go into him. So mid-turret defender for now, but again, it's ultimate for ultimate used. And for SEM9, they've got another wave that's going to be coming in. They'll be consistent, or persistent, I should say. And Clement, I guess we're going to keep assaulting mid until we get to the next dragon in 50 seconds. And at that point, Edge of Night is now complete for Kirino. He'll have that 2 items. We also have an LDR for Clayx that's been completed a little while ago.
Wow, that's a very early LDR against a team that's going full early game. So interesting choices right here. I just feel like the read from SEM9 is most likely Cha-Cha and Aliel will be stacking a lot of armor, so you might as well get this item done much sooner than usual. I can understand that logic coming from the side of Clayx. And I think the most important thing we have to note here is how will SEM9 actually approach this team fight? They do need to, I think, bait Hurricane Gaming a little bit more far forward, or Shiromine needs to have a massive explosive cask. In the previous game, he wasn't really there on the start of the fight. This time he is now. And ICU, I have to say, ICU has been really good with his Gnar bar so far. Both Drake fights coming in with about 90% Gnar bar.
And just threatening, holding on to it. I think for SEM9 as well, Clement, they need to keep doing their due diligence in de-warding. Because these wards were doing quite a lot here as Hurricane Gaming got the burst off. The Edge of Night as well. Mega Death Rocket was aimed for Aliel, but it hits ICU. And as Dragon spawns, SEM9 still with priority over the Ripper. But Hurricane Gaming look to trade this off through mid. However, it's too short range. They can't walk towards it. The flash in. Wait, what?
What?
Kirino flashes into CC. ICU now dealing with Caspiel. Clayx will get the kill and the reset, but Bang2 and Cha-Cha are healthy enough. Caspiel's ulti not doing enough. And over the wall, he comes back in for a quick trade-off. Messy as anything. Clayx flashes outside, but Bang2 wants to deal with him. The cleanse out early. ICU still alive. Clement, it's a fiesta.
I apparently don't understand how Zed is played. Zed is, I think, a tank now. Maybe that's kind of the idea. We saw Kirino flash in, gets insta-stun, and he didn't even get the ultimate off. Just died like that. So, interesting play. Like, I'm just wondering about the communication in that sequence, because if you're gonna flash and engage, why isn't it Shiromine doing the flash engage? It feels so weird for the Zed to go in like that.
I guess he thinks he's going to be an ulti straight away, but I'll also give credit to Enhao. That dredge line, that was a good reaction.
That was definitely beautiful there, and a lot of things just going wrong for SEM9 there. They don't get the knockback on the explosive cast. Clayx, even though he trades this one, you know, they still fall down to Bang 2 in the end. And it just seems like a lapse of communication. There was no way that it should be Shiromine to go in first. They had so many options. Like, Ophelia even had his flash in that fight as well. So yeah. I just think it's a comms issue. Like, maybe they wanted to count to 3, and then Kirino went in on 2. Like, that's probably my only explanation.
Clement, they know what the number 3 is, though. Come on. Like, we go in on 3. And Kirino's like, okay, I'll go in on 2. No, on 3. Kirino still goes in on 2. His Edge of Night, was actually down as well. So we saw it with Scatter the League. So a bit of a blunder. And if you're talking about communication issues, this whole game, it is fair to say that, you know, Felia's been on a different page. Like, we haven't seen the perfect layering of Caspiel's ult after Felia's 2. So, Hurricane Gaming, with some of the individual skill that we've talked about throughout the weeks, taking advantage of SEM9 mis-executing, and even in this side lane, start to bridge the gold gap a little bit more. ICU having a great time here with the 20 CS lead, and with this little hole breaker, making Shiromine really work for it.
I really like his build. He's delaying the Mythic a long time just to make maximum use of side lane split pushing items. A lot of DPS here. If the catch happens.
Gotcha. Gonna go golden. The ulti use from Kirino as well. But there should be enough burst damage, and the Ignite ticks him down. There's another kill. SEM9 back on the board, but the Solar Flare flashed away from Ali. They want Clayx, and with a depth charge, he'll be rooted down. No reset for him as Felia dies too. SEM9 even committed the teleport. ICU used one too. He'll slow them all down as the curtain call next to the finishing touches. Flash forward from the top laner. Hurricane Gaming are getting it all. And just when it looks good for SEM9.
They came here to play. That's for sure. That was a great response to the top lane. Double ultimates used there. There was actually very low combat power on the side of Caspiel and Kirino after that one. So Hurricane Gaming, they see the 3v3. They take it. They go all in with the TPs preemptively, and they clean up the mess. That was just really well done, and I think they understood the tempo extremely well. Unfortunately for SEM9, I'm not sure why their AD carry had to stay around this area. Oh, it was actually SEM9 engaging. Huh. That's an interesting choice. I was thinking that, you know, that you probably don't want to engage on this spot because you're mid jungle, have no ult, and you don't know where they're. Well, okay, they went in. I guess that's the end of it.
That's it. They went in, and it cost them everything. Clement, I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. This game delivering in a very, very unique way. After we've just cast like PSG Talon versus a CDBC Flying Oyster, and then versing even Frank Esports, watching Hurricane and SEM9 go at it is a very different experience.
It's interesting, to say the very least. Yeah. It's definitely interesting. I still don't know what SEM9 are doing with their engages. It's just been all over the place so far, and I just feel like Hurricane Gaming got out of a bind without really doing much. Like, if you think about this game, it was looking pretty damn bad for Hurricane Gaming. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that is already 3-0. He's moving across the map, completely unimpeded. He's picking up kills left and right. And then SEM9 just somehow fumble all of the objective fights completely.
Yep. Yeah. Well, good thing Aliel stepped back. Dragon Soul denied. And with the fumbling, now we see there's a 6k gold lead that's built up from all the times it's happened. So Hurricane Gaming in control of this game. SEM9, it was looking like we could start talking about the potential of the first win. Now I'm very concerned that they are going to be 0-11 very shortly.
I do have an opportunity this time around. Nara's in here.
What's the cast good? And how the target. Kirino exhausted though. Caspiel, finally, that's a good ulti. Kirino cleaned up the backline, but stopwatch after stopwatch as Caspiel rooted up, and down he goes. SEM9 without their leader as Shiromine targeted on the back. Clement, again, it looks so good, but SEM9 too far forward, split up without direction. Hurricane Gaming gonna blast them away.
Oh, that was very unfortunate for Hurricane Gaming. They still had 2 stopwatches just lying there, waiting to be used. and that was a good move by Enhal there, getting his Titan's Wrath just in time. So that's the problem about Zed. You really have very short windows. I feel like Zed, you have to snowball before those stopwatches come online. We didn't really see that happen. Hurricane Gaming picking up teamfight win after teamfight win, and they're going to cruise to a 2-0 in this matchup.
They are indeed. Look at Kirino in his first game of the PCS trying to keep this going, but Clayex, even if he flashes away, maybe actually, Clement, it's not over yet. Clayex got it all, and Nexus exposed, so the game goes off.
Wait a minute, did I misspeak? Are we going to get 20 more minutes of game time?
We are. Yeah, we're going to get at least 10. At least 10.
ClayX just stepping up huge to the play, getting excited and just picking away at his targets from the bottom side. He manages to clean everything up, and I thought this game was over for sure. I thought it was just done. But Hurricane Gaming, I actually feel like Hurricane Gaming probably split focus in that one. You know, they were trying to deal with multiple members. They weren't all on the Nexus for that moment, and we are seeing the objective bounties just rolling in.
Yeah, and look, it's only mid-inhibitor that's gone down, so S9 making sure the wave's nowhere near the base. There was no ward placed. However, there is a Jin trap. I think that's a Jin trap on the left-hand side. We'll have to see what happens here, because you're right, Hurricane Gaming, they went in for the play, and I think Kirino and ClayX getting their time to play.
Yeah, ICU goes a little bit too far in, dies first. Great play from ClayX, keeps his distance so well and kites out with 1,000 gold. The bounty, that was such a beautiful move to see him heal and then flash away, but still use his auto attack range to get the last hit in. That was, you know, that was a really intimate knowledge of his distancing in that team fight displayed right there. Great stuff from him, and look at his items right now. He's actually ahead of Bane 2, who's 6-1 and 8.
And you did talk about this comp being a better scaler. So that is worth mentioning, where Hurricane Gaming, limited options in this game. Yes, they still have the gold lead. Yes, they have an open Nexus. But SEM9, if they can delay this, if they can keep the game going, remember that once that inhibitor's up, they're going to be able to push out on the map a lot more. They're even doing it now, but hang on. They might have to deal with ICU. Be careful. ICU's mid. They can't go too far.
There are no Nexus towers left, so one member can just finish the game. They have to go back and defend. It was a good idea for Philia to try to come in from the side, but unfortunately he was actually slowed down by the Jin traps. He had the Elixir of Iron running as well. He's not able to find that engage onto Bane 2. The most important thing here is I think we have to see a good explosive cast from Shiro Mine. There's been so many team fights, but unfortunately Gragas has been missing the mark just a little bit. He needs to get the knockback or the scatter effect. That's when you have a lot of just isolated 1v1s where Kirino can really pilot this Zed to perfection.
Okay, so explosive cask, I think as well, we've already said Caspiel's ulti has to be layered after the solar flare. It has to come together perfectly, because one misstep, even like macro-wise, right? SEM9 are coming so far out on the map. Look at bot. Shiramini has to go back there, but right now, ICU having a great time in the solo lane. And for a team that has no Nexus turrets, they are very far out right now.
Yeah, the damage that ICU doing is getting pretty far out of hand. He's going to take this one now.
He's doing it. He's about to go Meganar. Now he's going to commit for this. Explosive cast there. Meganar ulti back. That's like the backwards dunk. And look, they've kicked off Kirino. So SEM9 are now down a member, and that should just be a Baron. Or at least walk it in. One of them.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by Kirino's death right there. He was the one waiting inside the brush, but maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew. And this is Hurricane Gaming putting the finishing touches. They could just end the game on this push.
Well, they're going to slow down the jungler, and look at the damage here from Alial. Teleport coming through. Hurricane want to end it, and Caspiel just gets one shot. The ulti doesn't come down. Two members, Clement, long death timers. Hurricane Gaming are back to set out what they tried to do before.
That was an interesting turn of events. I expected one big fight. This is one big fight.
Oh,
go room 7-9, please. Here we go.
Jeremy, and that one doesn't do too much. Unfortunately, Clement, you don't get your wish. Aliar does way too much damage. And SEM9, it doesn't matter, because at the end they got picked apart in different parts. And Hurricane Gaming going to make sure they don't pick up their first win instead. Hurricane get a little bit closer towards that middle of the pack.